What's up everyone, Kyle Smaine, and today is going to be a foundational skill. Whether you want to get into park or pipe skiing, or you just want to be able to learn to ski switch and have something different on the hill, it's a super useful skill. Whether you're teaching your kid how to ski down the hill and you want to be able to cradle them from the front, or you want to get into doing switch doubles, this is the base for where you got to start. This is going to be one of the most important skills besides learning to ski. So starting out, there's a lot of steps that are very similar to learning to ski. When you start skiing switch, the easiest way for you to control your speed is to do a switch pizza. And everybody's gonna do that naturally. You're not gonna instantly know how to do switch carves and just roll from edge to edge. You need to be able to control your speed. One of the most important things to figure out when you're skiing switch is which way you prefer looking over your shoulder. Typically it's the same as the direction you prefer spinning. So for me, I like to spin to the left. And so I like to look over my left shoulder. So when you're doing this, you're gonna shift your hips a little, and then it's turning your shoulders and turning your head. This is gonna help you look where you're going, and turning those hips and giving yourself a little bit of stagger to your feet is gonna help you get turned around more so you can see more of where you're going, so you don't feel like you're flying blind out there. Just like skiing forwards, you can use the pizza and pushing on that outside foot, smearing that tip instead of the tail. Pushing on the outside foot is gonna allow you to make those turns. So same thing, shifting that weight from left to right, your downhill or outside foot is gonna let you bring those turns around. And when you start, you're gonna be doing it in a pizza. And then as you progress, you'll be able to stay more parallel, just like you would learning to ski forwards. If you're watching this video, don't feel like you need to go out and buy a pair of twin tips to learn how to ski switch. Almost every ski these days has enough of the tail kicked up that if you're going down a groomed slope, you're not gonna have any problem catching your tips or tails. When I learned, I was a kid and I did it on my junior race skis. You can still confidently learn how to ski backwards without going buying a pair of twin tips like these nightsticks that I have here. But once you move from just skiing down a slope and then you go into transitions, whether that's a jump or a half pipe, it's gonna be beneficial and it's gonna be safer if you get on a pair of twin tips. When you're learning it, even though you'll have a way that's most natural for you to learn to look over your shoulder, try to practice going both ways. This is gonna help you when you transition into doing switch turns, because when you're turning, just like skiing forward, it's easiest if you have a lead change. So if you wanna turn this direction, you're gonna want your left foot back and twist your hips this way, looking over your left shoulder. When you wanna turn the other direction, pushing that other foot back and looking over the other shoulder. So it's gonna be this rocking motion. You'll have a moment in between where you're running a little blind, but just make sure you have a clear slope behind you. This is gonna be the easiest way to go from making pizza turns to making parallel switch turns. And especially once you get into setting tricks, being able to look over both shoulders is gonna be super helpful, because then you can look over your left shoulder for left spinning tricks, your right shoulder for right spinning tricks. Having this down when you're learning it in the first place is gonna make every step along the way easier in your progression. And then the final step on ski and switch is being able to transition from having to look over each shoulder to just staying looking over one shoulder and turning it into on edge carves, not smearing those turns anymore, really rolling those hips and knees, carving back and forth, looking over the same shoulder. So you're gonna have a staggered stance, whichever shoulder you're looking over, that hip or that heel and that foot is gonna be further back to give you a lead change here. And then you're rocking those ankles and knees over on edge, and you're gonna actually just carve turns. This is more advanced, but once you get into wanting to do switch tricks off of jumps, having this is gonna be key, because if you can carve, then you don't have to smear the turns. You're gonna be able to have more consistent speed. If when you're turning switch, you still have to smear those turns to do it, then you're gonna be dropping speed when you're coming into jumps, and being able to maintain and have consistent speed when you're taking switch to switch 180s or switch 540s, switch 900s, whatever it is, having that ability to really lock in on edge and not shed any speed on the takeoff is gonna be key.